How do we discover our own heroic self in our narrative of health? Each of us has our own narrative of health, like a mythic journey. Think about a story, like your favorite movie or your favorite myth from when you were a kid. Those fairy tales that would have the hero or the heroine that would go through all of these journeys and all of these travels, have these trials and tribulations that they would go through. Sometimes the fairy tales ended happily, sometimes they didn't. Depends upon which version, right? But each of us has a narrative of our own health journey. Our story of health doesn't suddenly pop into existence when we go to the doctor's office. We're constantly creating and living these narratives of our health experience. And that means that if it's our narrative, then we get to be the hero of our own narrative of health. So how do we tell the story of our own health narrative? Well, first, you got to figure out where we are, right? Like, what kind of landscape is this narrative taking place in? How do you imagine that experience? Our own personal sense, judgment, assumption, and interpretation about what we experience in our health, each one of those aspects can determine how we perceive our health. Pain sucks. It just does. And so if we look at our narrative of health, then being in pain is like, well, it's like in any narrative when the hero faces a challenge. You are a hero. No less of a hero than Jason of the Argonauts. No less of a hero than Aphrodite, Artemis. Pick a myth, pick a fairy tale, something that rings for you, something that inspires that flame of courage. You are the hero of your narrative of health. And claiming that narrative as your own, claiming that role of the hero, can sometimes be an incredibly empowering and challenging act, because it means acknowledging that what you feel is true for you. Whether we have words for it or not is secondary. Claiming the experience as your own, that matters, that allows you to stand in your own land. So, how do we become the hero of our own narrative of health? It's hard. A hero doesn't always acknowledge that they're a hero, but you are. I'm Catherine Gabriel-Jones. I'm an encouragement coach. And I believe in you.